I do fantasy football.
It's my quarterback. If you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
How's your fantasy team looking this year?
I won $1 million.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Hello, this is Lachlan Patterson, and you're listening to My Fantasy Wife Podcast. Enjoy.
My Fantasy Wife Podcast.
Style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable.
Blair.
I watched 40 minutes of Space Jam this weekend. It's 40 minutes of my life. I'm not going to get back.
Put that in the pipe and smoke it.
Gary.
They had already announced he was leaving. He
Well-
just didn't want to wait out the 30. You know how when you quit a job, you got to give them 30 days or whatever. He's
2 weeks. You've never had a real job, have you?
No.
He is the man in the fantasy world.
Drew.
You're not a Peyton Manning fan.
I'm not a Manning fan.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Lewis.
You love Burger King.
Yeah, I like Burger King.
Yeah.
Not the game. We're talking about practice, man.
You're listening to My Fantasy Wife Podcast. www.myfantasywife.com.
Welcome, listeners, to My Fantasy Wife, the weekly sports meets comedy meets marriage podcast, where a husband and wife discuss sports, fantasy leagues, and their impact on pop culture and relationships, including their own. I'm the wife, comedian Blair Postman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, my husband and sports stat expert Gary Hames is out on assignment this week, but thankfully we are still joined by our hot topics and social media maven, comedian pet nurse Drew Harrison.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, Drew. And rounding things out, sound engineer, comedian, and man about town, Mr. Louis Bishop.
I really enjoy Drew's set now that he is a comedy pet nurse.
Yes, comedy pet nurse. To never miss our weekly episodes and extras, subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, Twitter at My Fant Wife, and support the podcast by liking and rating us in iTunes. Miss any of that? Then go to our website, myfantasywife.com, with links to everything. Drew, with your very scratchy voice, tell us about this week's sponsor.
All right, Blair, this week's sponsor is Lou Morgante and Cordero Wilson, headlining a Dead Crow Comedy Room in Wilmington, North Carolina this weekend. That's October 21st and 22nd. Go to deadcrowcomedy.com for tickets. That's deadcrowcomedy.com.
Oh, right. Good job, Drew.
You sound good, Drew, even though you're struggling.
I like the voice. That's the only thing that I'm okay with.
It's kind of like the male Kathleen Turner voice.
I don't
know.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't know. I don't know who the. Oh, hold on.
Who's Kathleen Turner?
Well, we've discussed it.
Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone. She had a really deep, husky voice, and then she was
Is
Chandler's,
she Chandler's
mom on
dad?
Friends.
Mom, dad?
Yeah.
Mom, dad?
Dad,
Yes,
mom?
exactly.
It was his dad that became his mom.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I do like her voice.
All right. Well, how's everybody doing? Drew, you're sick.
Catalina.
And then, and Louis, you just got back from traveling.
I did, yes.
And I just got back from traveling.
Very
so
rigorous.
and Gary's not even here. Out on assignment means they had a huge work thing he couldn't get out of. So we are a mess. We're a mess.
I'm doing all right.
We're going to pull it together.
Bishop's like, don't put me
Come
in that
on,
category.
set the bar low, Louis, for the beginning of the episode. And then whatever happens.
Have you seen the pictures from his weekend? He's riding high right now.
That's right. You know what? Could you
This
find...
research I have?
Do you have any... Wow, that's a lot of research.
Yeah,
a lot of research.
Paper isn't working. How
If
about
you
this
get a
research?
chance, if you get the opportunity,
Sure.
Could you find Rocky Top
Sure.
and play that?
Please tell me you bought that sweet, sweet vest.
Yeah, they gave that vest to me.
So we'll put that on the. I'll put vest picture for myself here, listeners. Mr. Bishop went on a nice. What's the Appalachian? Was it Apple or Blue?
No, that's all
Smoky
that.
Mountains.
We'll say
Smoky
it's
Mountain
all
vacation?
that stuff. It's all any which way you want to say it.
Colorado Rockies.
Smoky Mountain retreat
Right.
with his wife, and he had a sweet, sweet picture of himself. Shirtless with a leather vest on, and
Like
I think
God intended him to be.
like
Right.
God intended him to be, precisely.
Well, we were in there, and I don't want to say exactly where we were at, Cherokee, but
It was a casino.
And well, we did go gamble. It was fun.
Oh, did you win?
No, but
Okay.
I made my money stretch.
Okay, good
so,
for you.
Yeah, good for me.
He's not a rookie. He's
right.
not a rookie.
You stretched out the fun.
Right.
You decided what you could lose for the entertainment value.
Right, yeah, and it was like, and also like I didn't have enough to actually gamble. Does that make sense? You know, like you're
right.
like
For sure.
you're like, oh, I don't have $500 to blow, so I'm not really gonna get into it.
No, we're gonna play around the edges.
Right.
here.
Now, do you get free drinks at this certain?
You
casino?
do, yeah, of course.
That's
yeah.
all that matters.
Well,
Yeah.
you know.
And you buy the drinks; they're super cheap. I don't know, it's like if it's like Indian prices or something, but like
Native American.
yeah, it's like super cheap.
Columbus Day prices.
Right.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, God.
What?
no.
Gary, text that to me.
Oh God, am I? So I mean, I hate to bring this up, but so far, do you feel like the beginning of the podcast is going way more smoothly since Gary's not here?
Why are you trying to turn us
I'm
against him?
not.
He leaves for one show, and you're trying to steal.
Oh, not at all. He has left his imprint later in the show, which you guys will see as a surprise. All right, listeners. Upcoming guests this week. We for episode 131.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh God. And it shows. It's beginning to show.
Do you have 131 gray hairs?
Maybe more. Maybe more. Episode 131 from Los Angeles. Our guest is comedian Heather Marulli.
All right.
And next week, weirdly, I'm going to be the guest because I'm out of town. This is Gary's bright idea. But we are going to have a guest wife host, comedian Beth Corvino.
Oh, right.
Friend of the podcast. She's been on before. And she is somebody's wife, also, in addition to being a comedian. And then some other fun stuff coming up, or guests coming up in October, November, December. Vanessa Gonzalez out of Austin. Quasi Mensa out of Boston. We're going to have Jesse Jones coming up, New York and Wilmington, North Carolina, both. Christian Spicer out of LA, and some other fun stuff.
All right.
Let's give him a round of applause.
I have a question real quick about Jesse Jones. Is he moving to Charlotte?
Yes,
Oh,
he is.
Okay.
Oh, I heard that he was driving when I talked to him. I didn't know if he was moving for sure.
Yeah, he got a new job.
Whoa, what's his job?
No idea.
Oh,
I think he does graphic design.
Well, he does, but I know his wife was working here, so I didn't know what that.
No, he got some. He told me it was some deal he couldn't turn down.
Oh wow.
New job and a new wife.
Yeah, whole new life.
Right.
No.
New kids, everything.
No.
Sorry for you.
None of that.
He traded the dog in.
None of
It's
this
a really good business.
Wow, no.
They already have all that
You
stuff
haven't
set
seen
up
the
for
website?
They have it all set up. It's turnkey.
Yeah.
It's a whole turnkey life.
That's what
Dog,
it's called.
Kids.
Turnkeylife.com.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. That's an idea. We're gonna write that one down. Somebody's already doing it.
Yeah, they already have that.
All the
They
good
will
ideas.
kill your family for you and get you a new one.
I think it's more of a swap thing. Like, then his old family will go to someone who wants to move here.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's much easier than just killing them.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
I mean, we're in the early stages of this. We got to talk this out,
Okay,
right?
so we got to brainstorm.
We got to brainstorm.
All right, we're
It's
gonna
like an Airbnb.
What's that?
What, you hit him with a BMW?
No,
B and W instead of B and B.
Yeah. Instead of bed and breakfast, a bed and wife. You get a new bed and a wife.
That's what happens to the old wives. They go work at this place.
Right.
You know,
or the new husbands.
I don't like.
Yeah, we're not discriminating.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys know. I was about to dive in.
No,
and say
no,
this
no.
is a little
we
sexist
definitely
because it goes both ways.
I guarantee you, as soon as we launch this website, we're gonna have more women that are wanting new lives.
Yeah,
anyway,
right.
so
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have to. It's kind of like
we can't cut down our clientele.
It's kind of like we're gonna have to work on that distribution. All right, guys. Can I have a little switcheroo or?
Oh, your computer's crap. So I'm going to go back to my old Folly days. Whenever I was a Folly artist.
Should I play some Foley artist?
We used to call it Folly.
Should I play something from my music list?
I got it right here.
Okay, what's that? Oh wow, that was
nice.
great. All right, guys, let's do a little fact checking. This is the part of the podcast where we correct the mistakes we made last episode to make room for the mistakes ones we could have, chosen between among. But after Apres le deluge came up, and it's a quote. It's sort of a famous quote.
For some reason, the French language, I turned into a little giggling schoolgirl.
Après moi le déluge.
It is so funny to me.
Bonjour, Monsieur Drew.
That's my ignorant American coming
Comment
out.
ça va?
I can't take it seriously.
Fetchez la vache.
There we go. That's what I'm talking
That means fetch the cow.
Do you know French?
I used to know a lot of French. Now it's been a long time. And this is a little Rocky Top. I requested this in honor of your vacation.
Thank you.
Of the Smoky Mountains.
Thank you.
If you could turn it down just a hair.
Turn it up?
Down just a hair.
Okay.
It's better than what I'm going to say. But Apres, it's an interesting juxtaposition to Apres,
that's why French is so
le
confusing.
deluge. I've lost my touch.
Is that
guys.
a verb or a noun? What is that?
It means after me, the flood, and it's attributed to Louis the 15th, not 14th or 16th, as Gary and I had conjectured. It's adapted from Apres nous le déluge, which is after us the deluge, credited to Madame Pompadour. And it's a reference to the signs of the approaching French Revolution, and then, they lost their heads and bet.
I don't know any of that you just talked about.
It just basically means like, hey, look, you might not like me, but after I'm gone, the real flood of bad stuff's going to come.
Okay. It's kind of like trust the bad guy, not the bad guy.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely, I always took it to mean a big element of that.
Okay.
It might mean other things as well. And then the other really fun mistake, if you will, Gary was trying to make a reference to the dark prison movie from the 70s, Midnight Express, but he said Midnight Run, and they're very different movies.
I've only seen Midnight Run.
Okay. Yep, Midnight Express is from 78. It was a screenplay that was by Oliver Stone, adapted a book. It was a true story of this American student who had been sent to a Turkish prison for trying to smuggle hashish out of the country. And the title...
I didn't know Turkey was known for their hashish.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they got those hookah pipes and such.
Okay.
And there was a lot of very dark things that happened in this movie, including a fairly famous, almost a pop culture reference way, without even seeing the movie yourself, about an attempted rape of this prisoner, and a very dark movie. But the movie, Gary said, was Midnight Run. Midnight Run was a 1988 comedy starring Charles Grodin, and he was the accountant to the mob, and Robert De Niro was a bounty hunter sent out to collect him, and hilarity ensued. So very different. I think.
I mean, I think Midnight Run is a fantastic movie.
I haven't seen it in a while. Now I kind of want to see it again. Charles Grodin was pretty funny there, and then he got a TV news show on MSNBC.
I was going to say, he had a weird career.
He was on 60 Minutes. Remember that? That was weird.
Yeah, he had do you think they were trying to make him into because I thought he was all right in the movies playing the parts that he
was
played.
funny. He was very funny. He was in the Muppet movies a lot too.
I mean, that just shows his range. He's got fantastic range.
Yeah, but
all kinds of stuff.
He hasn't been in anything for a long time. I mean, he's much older now.
But then they try to turn him into
a talking head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was it's just not. I don't know.
Doesn't work.
Wasn't he the dad in Clifford?
Possibly.
Was he?
I think
Possibly.
so. Not Clifford the dog, but
I immediately went to.
That's
Clifford the dog.
I entirely thought you meant Clifford.
I grew up on Clifford the dog. So I was like, that was the dad.
This is the cross section, the very small Venn diagram of where Drew and I's interests, immediate first thoughts overlap is Clifford the dog.
You've never seen the Martin Short movie Clifford?
No.
Oh, you have homework now.
Okay.
That listen, at least when I watched it in the 90s, it was hilarious to me.
He was fantastic in The Great Muppet Caper.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big one. Wasn't he trying to steal Miss Piggy away from Kermit?
Yeah. And he tried to steal Big Bird.
No, I mean, but wasn't he wooing Miss Piggy?
It's been so long.
Oh, you know what? We're going to fact check that. A lot of important Charles Grodin.
Right.
Fact checks for next week.
They're calling Midnight Run a classic.
You know what? It was. I watched it over. It was one of the movies I watched a lot. When it would come on cable and stuff. But it's been a long time. I haven't seen it.
Now, was his movie The Heartbreak Kid? Did they remake that with Ben Stiller? Is that the same movie?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh God, you're just adding to the list. Okay, next week we're devoting the entire show. I'll do it before I leave for New York. You guys make sure Gary executes this.
It was a remake.
All Charles Grodin.
It was
Just
remake.
All Charles Grodin.
So he was the original Heartbreak Kid, and Ben Stiller remade it.
Wow.
That was a good movie.
All right, guys. We're gonna get into a little hot topic-y kind of stuff. Is my terrible computer working or behaving any better?
I'm just getting there.
It's getting there.
Oh, I gotta plug the thing in. Sorry, hold on.
Oh, wait a second. Bum, bum, bum. Do 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 do. Please stand by.
All right, take 2, count down
Hot topics.
from 50. 50, 49.
All right, guys. Drew, mostly for you. Baseball. Do we care now?
I finally can say yes.
Okay.
Blair, we care about baseball.
We care now.
Yes. It is. The playoffs are getting absolutely fantastic.
Okay, and I'll ask you to start with this. I was just in D.C., and people were very... I got there about, I think, one day after the Nationals
You got to see
lost.
D-Day.
I missed it by about 24 hours. People were upset. So
Yeah,
why don't you tell us what
rightfully
happened
so.
with the Nationals?
They got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs for
Again.
like the 72nd straight year.
Wow.
It was. I think it's 5 out of the last 7. They've
Wow.
lost in the first round.
Yeah.
The other 2 they didn't make the playoffs.
But they were the champions of the
Their division, yeah.
Division, yeah.
As a baseball fan, now does baseball fandom change differently from other fandoms? And now, maybe I'm asking if you're a different style fan, but would you rather your team get to the playoffs almost every year and get knocked out, or have years and years with no playoffs?
Well, that's a
and go deep in the playoffs or maybe the World Series.
That's a fantastic question to ask me, a Braves fan, because
right.
for 14 years I got to see them make the playoffs and never do anything.
Yeah, Gary
And now for the
also-
last decade, they haven't made the playoffs.
Sure.
So I would definitely preferred when they made the playoffs and choked.
Okay.
Because you get to care about baseball for a little bit longer.
Just a little bit. There's a little more in it.
Yeah, a little
Do you have the
more
same fandom in other sports also? Like,
well, in football, it's you like watching the playoffs. I mean, well, for baseball too. I'm just a big fan. I enjoy the playoffs. It's that much better.
which
when
was
you
more
got a team.
heartbreaking, I guess, is my question.
I mean, I definitely was on that run there where the Tar Heels lost in the national championship, the Panthers lost in the Super Bowl. It was pretty heartbreaking. So I would definitely, if they're going to get knocked out, I don't want them to make it to the championship. That's for sure. Like losing the first or second round, that's good enough for me.
You can't like take the nail biting. on it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather be a
you don't want to be the
Nationals fan than whoever's going to lose in the World Series. this year.
So now let me ask you this. We've kind of talked about it before. I think it was last year about this time. Is DC now the saddest sports city?
They have to be.
I mean, between
the
that
Capitals
and the
heartbreaking
Capitals,
every year.
Yeah, every year.
And the Redskins have had their own heartbreak.
And the Redskins, it's just like a whole bunch of nothing.
And then the Wizards, you got nothing there.
No, yes, you do. All those teams go to the playoffs.
Yeah, but the Wizards choke in the first round.
the Redskins
I don't know.
don't.
I'm different than that.
So
though.
you'd rather your team make it and then just
I'd rather have a good team, yeah.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I understand. I mean, it makes the season interesting.
Right.
And then they win a championship, at least a division, you know?
Right.
So who do we got left? The Cubs?
So the Astros are up 2-0 on the Yankees in the American League side. So
Okay.
barring a ridiculous comeback from the Yankees, that one's over.
Okay.
Because they just got to win 4.
By the way, that Oregon came in at just the right time. It was very dramatic.
Yeah.
And then you got the Dodgers who won last night.
Did you know that
on the
Lewis could play the pipe organ?
No, I didn't. I don't know why I didn't realize the
I've
organ was
never
sitting in the
opened
corner
that
of the room.
closet door before, and
Like,
that's, I mean...
how have you hidden that from us this entire time?
Oh, it's like one of those beds that folds out of the
It's
wall.
like it's a Murphy organ.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's got a drum set too?
Yeah, he's very talented. Gary's going to be sad he missed this. But so you've got the Astros and
Playing
the
with my
Yankees.
knees.
Right. You ever see the one-man band?
I can see Bishop being a one-man band.
Do you remember in Mary Poppins when the chimney sweep guy became the one-man band
He's got
guy?
the cymbals on his ankles and his knees.
Listeners, that's what
Yes.
Mr. Bishop looks like right now, except he is shirtless wearing a leather vest.
Is that an accordion?
Yes, but I'm not going to break that.
Okay, all right.
So anyway, so we have the Astros up on the Yankees, and you
And
feel
the-
like that's
Yeah, that one's done.
feeling good.
Astros are just too good of a team. It's going to be hard to beat the Astros.
And then we have the
period.
Indians.
No, the Yankees knocked them out.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people are bummed about that because
Yeah.
they're supposed to win this year.
Right, and they didn't.
No.
And then what?
Yeah,
about,
I mean, still though, is DC sadder than Cleveland?
well, Cleveland won the NBA championship in storybook fashion a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that counts. That counts for real.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
So what about? Hey, see, I listen to our own
Look at you,
podcast.
all
I've
right.
learned some stuff. So what about are the Dodgers?
The Dodgers beat the Cubs last night.
Okay.
They play game 2 tonight.
So we've got Astros, Yankees, Cubs, Dodgers.
That's the last 4.
Oh, is that the last 4?
Last 4.
Oh, cool. Okay, all right.
So
It's
what
getting,
do you?
It's getting very interesting. Every game's been fantastic. The Cubs-Dodgers game I was glued to the TV last night watching
Now,
it.
they were big contenders. The Dodgers were last year.
Yep, they won it last year. I mean, no, the Cubs won it last year.
Yeah, no, but I mean, they were big divisional rivals, and it was tight going. But they. So you think it's going to be Astros, Dodgers, or Cubs?
I think it's going to be Astros, Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Dodgers have that pitching staff.
Well, MLB will be happy. They're two huge media markets.
Right. I mean, the Astros hadn't been there in decades.
And they've had a tough year in that town, so I'm sure they could use something
I would
to root
love
for.
for Houston to win.
Yeah.
I would love for Houston to win.
There's something to root for. Is there anything else we need to know about baseball?
Jose Altuve is going to go down as one of the greatest players of all time.
And who does he play for?
He is the second baseman for the Astros.
Oh, okay. And why is he going to go down?
He's 5'6".
Okay.
Is still putting up power numbers, which is unheard of for a man his size.
Okay.
And he just completely changes the game. He's the entire reason the Astros won the first two games.
All right. All right.
He scored the game-winning run and the go-ahead run in Game 1.
Nice.
The game-winning run in Game 2.
All right. Well, good for him, Mr. Altuve. Can I have a change topic music, Mr. Bishop? College football. Discuss.
It was the weekend of the upset.
Oh, it was it?
It was.
Who was upset?
Let me pull up the top 25 real quick. You had, of course, the big one, Syracuse, unranked Syracuse knocking off number 2 Clemson.
Oh, yeesh. Yeah.
You had unranked California knocking off number 8 Washington State.
That's crazy.
You had.
Bless you, Mr. Bishop.
It made me sneeze. It made me so sick to hear that.
Right. He's so angry. It's an interesting anger reflex that Lewis has. He sneezes when he gets really mad.
Right.
Number 24
It's horrible
LSU beat
fights.
number 10 Auburn. And then you had unranked Boise State beat San Diego State. And unranked Arizona State knocking off number 5 Washington.
Oh, wow.
So it was just upset after upset.
So who winds up number 1 after you shake all that up? Alabama still in there. Okay.
Yeah, no one's tough. Everyone says before this week Clemson was the best team in college, but their starting quarterback got knocked out.
I was going to say, didn't he get hurt?
Yeah. So there goes their season if he doesn't come back.
All right. So who do you think is sort of comes back as number 2 after this week?
I think it's going to be Georgia, Penn State. Possibly, I mean, it might be one of those 3.
Yeah.
I can't think who else is like right there.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that we desperately need to know about college football?
Nah.
Did NC State win?
NC State is, yeah.
Yeah, they're undefeated so far,
wait a
right?
second. We didn't talk about, maybe it was in basketball. We didn't talk about this. I totally forgot the huge scandal.
Oh, what scandal? There's no scandal anymore.
No,
UNC
not the scandal you're talking about. I'm talking about
not that
the scandal of the entire system of all the coaches at various different.
Yes, we can mention that, but it's about to get so much worse.
Give me the summary. Give me the.
So it's based on the Adidas schools.
What is based on? What?
The FBI arrests.
What? There's been arrests?
There's been arrests. College assistant coaches have been arrested.
And it's for
fraud and what's the other big
collusion?
Another C word. Fraud and
conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Okay,
yeah.
Hey, law school.
They've been using
put to work here.
They've been using their standard. They've been using their footing as an Adidas school, getting Adidas sponsorship to persuade players to come to their schools.
So what have they been doing? As Adidas,
Adidas has been giving them like duffel bags worth of stuff to bring. Like, here you go, guys.
Stuff or money or just stuff?
All of it.
Money too.
Yeah, taking care of the family to come to school there, and this is still.
We got some shoes here for you, and there might be a little something underneath the shoes for you.
Well, it's tied into the prostitution thing with Louisville.
Yeah, and what's his name? Patino's been
one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Suspended and is probably going to get fired.
He already got fired.
Or is it fired?
He's done.
The what I thought was interesting is that
should I send out my resume?
Yes, for sure.
You should, for sure.
Might want to look into not having Adidas as your sponsor.
Oh no.
But it's not just an NCAA issue. It is a conspiracy and fraud issue, and I do not remember why. But we'll look that up.
Well, they also said this is a game changer because NCAA tipped off the FBI to this. The NCAA knew that they have been messing up a couple of things lately, so they're like, this is beyond our reach. let's get the FBI involved.
Right.
Are they going to do that from now on? Who knows?
All right. Well, we'll be going a little deeper into that next week.
Because I mean, they're going to cut deals with all the people they arrested. So
Sure.
many people are going to get named. It's going to get exponentially worse.
I just want to. I know.
Wow, big word.
Nobody else cares, but I want to look into the legal basis for the fraud part, not why it's not just an NCAA issue.
Yeah.
And we will work on that, and we will get back to you.
I like it.
So can I have a very special NFL hot topic intro?
The dun-dun-dun thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to be like classy about it, Drew.
You know the thing with the dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yes. Oh, the suspense. Or we could just use the bad boy one.
It's building.
It's building.
Dun, 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 dun.
There it is.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, you
Dun, 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 dun.
So, NFL week in review and our fantasy listings, Drew. Drew, you were having
It's a sad day.
you were having a tough week.
That's what happens when your starting quarterback puts up 0 points and gets knocked out of the game with a broken collarbone, possibly out
today.
for the rest of the season.
Oh, I was talking about last week. But
We're talking about all your weeks, Drew. You've
yeah,
really let us down.
You have.
Well, you're the defending two-time champion.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
It's
go.
tough.
This is what I used
tough
to do.
keep that standard up. You know. What
How
I
about
mean?
what you done for me lately? And that's
What
not
have
a
you
whole
done
lot.
for me lately?
Well, I'm projected to win, and my quarterback put up 0 points. So.
That's terrifying. Who are you playing, Gary? No.
Who's Timmy Booth?
Oh, Timmy Booth. Well, yeah, you are. You're Hey Girly Hey, and
I'm in second to last.
Last in our division. Now you lost last week, Lewis, but you are still tied for first across the league
Thank
with
you.
a couple people. Now that we know about your whole secret life as a fantasy football Svengali.
Yep.
He's been lying to us this entire time.
Well, you have to lose a few to.
Well, he's waiting for me to get off the throne, so it's okay.
Yeah.
And I am tied for second, but there's no joy in Mudville in our division, our side of things. It's 3 people tied at 2-3-0. So we'll see. I think we're playing each other this week, Mr. Bishop.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I got my one loss out of the way, so people would stop asking questions. So now,
Right.
back to business.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see. It's all part of a larger plan.
Took the week off. Now,
Right.
back to the plan.
Now back to plan. So what are the surprises in the NFL or for fantasy?
Well, I mean,
do you have Aaron Rodgers just 2 hours ago broke his
possibly
collarbone?
out for the season? And now they're saying,
was he your quarterback?
Yes.
Oh boy.
And now Jameis Winston's been knocked out of his game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like just now, his shoulder injury. So things are gonna get weird.
Who's been a surprise in a positive way in the NFL this season?
Just today, C.J. Beathard got put in for the 49ers because Brian Hoyer, imagine that, was a terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
yet again.
boo.
I don't know
who he is. But what about the teams overall? Like, just is anyone? Kansas City is doing really well, right?
Well,
or they were. I didn't watch.
Oh yeah,
today.
they're playing the Steelers today, so we'll see how that turns out.
But the Patriots have probably been the weird story.
Yeah, they came back and won today. It wasn't looking good there for a while.
But
the Texans are a happy surprise with Deshaun Watson. Even though their entire defense has been decimated, they're still winning.
All right.
The Dolphins beat the Falcons today. That's unheard of.
So if you had to pick right now 4 teams, 2 from each division to go to the playoff, to get to the before the Super Bowl game, what's that? The divisional championships.
Yep.
Who would you pick?
I'll go Chiefs and Patriots in the AFC.
Uh-huh.
And I will go. I'll go Eagles Panthers in the NFC.
Eagles Panthers.
Oh. Is that just because there's
played
no
it
one
safe
good
and-
to pick?
Yeah, with Aaron Rodgers out, Seattle's not who they were.
What about the Falcons? Where are they?
They lost to the Dolphins. They've barely won the games they played this year.
There's nobody to believe in anymore, is there?
No,
That's what
there's
it feels like.
There's not a strong. And I think the Panthers are going to figure it out. I'm not just saying that just because I'm a Panthers fan. And the Eagles have just one of the best offenses I've seen in a few years.
But now, what's their actual record? It's not great.
Who?
The Eagles? They're
No,
5-1.
no. Oh, I thought you said the Panthers.
Oh,
Well, no,
well, the
they're
Panthers
still-
are 4-2.
Okay.
And the
Oh, it's
Eagles
just
are
that one of those
5-1.
was a real squeaker, and okay.
Yeah, so that should be
And
fine.
you missed our conversation about Cam Newton last week. But,
Yeah, he'll get his head on straight at some point.
yeah. Whatever.
Shall I say head out of his ass?
If you think there's either a player or a well-known player or a team that could be a real surprise still this season, who could surprise people?
If Carr comes back healthy, the Raiders could.
Yeah. You're a Raiders fan, Mr. Bishop.
Yeah. The problem is that he got hung up in that Adidas stuff with the NCAA and.
That's odd with him being a professional player.
Yeah.
Well, he was actually delivering the Adidas to the players.
That's like a side gig.
Yeah. Well, he got out early though because him and his family, they're all about saving money, and he told them that they should go with Ewing's, Patrick Ewing's. You can get them at Family Dollars.
I thought he was signing to the Stephon Marbury Chinese collection.
He did at first, but then
he went a different way.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have a real question since Gary's not here. What about his Cowboys? He said last week they've been a real disappointment this year after a good season last season.
Ezekiel, that whole mess is just completely taken.
Well, tell me, go into a little detail about the mess. Pretend I don't know about it.
Well, I mean, just this past week they upheld the suspension, so it's just been one of those things like he's suspended. No, he's not. He's suspended. No, he's not. He's suspended.
Well, also I think they figured him out. It's one of those things.
Well, that offensive line isn't what it was last year at all.
And what about the Dak Prescott? He was like the new hot guy last year.
I mean, he's doing okay.
Last year.
He's all right. He's nothing like he was last year.
It just doesn't feel like there's anyone to get excited about except possibly the Chiefs, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong about that?
No, that's really the only team that's.
I mean, God knows the Giants. Is that guy going to get fired before the season's up? By that guy, I mean the head coach.
No, they have too many.
The guy. I don't know his name.
I mean, their top 4 receivers are out with injury. So
okay.
I think he'll last through the season, but he's not coming back next year. I don't know if Eli Manning's coming back next year.
You think they're going to can Eli Manning?
I don't think.
Maybe he'll retire.
He could be they're paying him too much money for not getting a whole lot back.
We're paying you too much.
Right.
Like
exactly.
you take a pay cut or you leave.
Right. All right.
Do you think he would work anywhere else?
Well, I mean, sure.
Oh, someone will pick him up. I mean, it would be funny if Phillip Rivers retired and he went to San Diego where he originally got drafted.
Oh, was he supposed to go there?
The Rivers and Eli got traded for each other because Eli said he absolutely did not want to play in San Diego.
All right. Well, but isn't San Diego in Los Angeles now?
Yes.
Okay. I heard some talk about that maybe they would change that. Like they go back to San Diego.
No.
Well, I heard
they might have gone for a while. They were speculated they were going to go to Oakland and take over the Raiders.
Yeah,
place.
It's like there was nothing in Los Angeles. Now there's too much. I think it's silly.
The Rams are playing. That's a nice surprise.
Oh,
the Rams are playing really well.
Right. Well,
I heard a good thought about. So you make they're still San Diego, right? But you make the Chargers a totally different franchise, kind of like what they did with the Browns and the Ravens, right?
Uh-huh.
So the Ravens, that franchise, moved to Maryland, Baltimore, but the city kept the rights to all of the Brown stuff.
Right.
So if there was an expansion, then the Browns would come back there. So they should do that with the San Diego team. Let the city of San Diego keep all of
the Charger
rights and all that stuff, and the city keeps the stats and everything like that. And then when there's another expansion, you go and you start them back up. And you let LA have whatever team name they want.
What would be a good LA team name?
I don't know. Let's see. The LA, there's too many football teams here now. Chargers. I don't know.
The LA Stars.
LA Stars. Ooh, I like that.
But it is comments like that, Mr. Bishop, that it makes very evident that you have been faking about your lack of interest in football all this time.
Right.
All right, guys. Are we ready to call our guest?
Sure.
All right. Let's give Heather Marulli a call. All right.
Drew, no coffee.
Sorry, my bad.
Jesus.
Christ.
Oh, by the way, I loved Topher last week.
Oh, Topher's back. Yes, is this Heather Marulli?
This is she. Just a second. Let me step outside of where I am right now.
Oh, okay. She's somewhere fun. Somewhere.
No,
that's
I'm in Starbucks.
Well, that is a place to be. Heather, you're on the air, if you will, with My Fantasy Wife podcast. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Oh, we are doing very well. Let me let you know who is in the studio today. Obviously, myself. Unfortunately, my husband and sports stat expert Gary Hames is on assignment today, which means he had a work thing he couldn't get out of. But we do have our Hot Topics and social media maven, comedian Drew Harrison.
Hey.
Oh, okay. Hi.
All right. A little disappointing.
Hello.
And also our sound engineer, comedian, and man about town, Mr. Louis Bishop.
Hello, Heather.
Hi. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Well,
good.
We are so now. I think you are in Portland for the All Jane Festival. Is that right?
I am currently in Portland, Oregon.
Are you allowed to go into a Starbucks when you're in the Northwest? Or is it like too on the point?
Honestly, well, yesterday I went to a local coffee house, but I felt that the cappuccino that was served to me gave me a little bit of a stomach problem.
Oh my! Well, that's not good.
It was a little powerful.
Oh wow! It was too intense.
This is one of the only Starbucks in Portland proper, I'm pretty sure, because I looked it up on my phone and there were like maybe 3 within 10 miles of me.
But you just needed something you knew how it would affect you at that stage.
I needed the internet and a bathroom.
Oh
so
my.
That's what I needed.
All right. Oh, Heather, I almost forgot. This is a good segue into doing your bio for our listeners here. Besides being an aficionado of Portland, Oregon area bathrooms, Heather Marulli is a comedian, writer, and actor living in Los Angeles, born in New York City, and raised in the ever-thrilling suburbs of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Heather brings... I hope so. I got this from your page. Heather brings a unique worldview to her performances, completely unabashed and unafraid to speak her mind on issues such as dating, sex, family, death, and the absurdity of life. Heather has a unique opinion on nearly every subject. She's been in several prestigious comedy festivals, including recently the 208 Comedy Festival, and very, very recently, as in now, the All Jane Comedy Festival. And you have recently been seen on Comedy Central in the Jeff Ross Presents commercials, or excuse me, Jeff Ross Presents Roast Battle. Big round of applause for Heather Marulli, everybody.
Oh, thank you. Gosh, I feel very special. Thank you.
We like to give the personal touch. We're sort of like the independent coffee house of podcasts. It seems like a good idea, but later your stomach's going to hurt.
Later you're going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I was a very strong brew. That's what it was.
Yes, we're a strong brew podcast.
That's a good way to describe us. Strong brew.
Yes, very much so. So, Heather, as we always do with our clients. Our clients. That's weird.
Wow.
I hope I'm getting kickbacks if that's the case.
Yeah.
It's payola on podcasts. We always do with our guests, we asked you what kind of sports or sports-ish things. And by the way, we have a lot of background noise with you right now. Just FYI. Do I
need to move or something?
I don't know. Being indoors is usually good, but maybe not in a Starbucks. So you just do your best. Do your best.
Oh no, I'm outside right now. Is that bad?
We usually think inside is better, but if the Starbucks is very loud, like I said, just do your best. We can hear wind.
Would it help if I'm on my earbuds? Does that make more noise?
No, we just heard some kind of siren. That was hilarious.
That was not from me.
Oh, that was something else. The earbuds actually are better. Earbuds are good. Earbuds are great.
Okay.
But just find do they still have phone booths in Portland? I don't know. Find whatever corner you can find.
Do you talk to all your clients like this, Blair?
I know. This is why I can't retain my clients. But anyway, we asked you, Heather, what kind of sports or sports-ish or competitive things that you have either been obsessed with or into or played yourself. And we have those here. And one of those is that you are super obsessed with the Olympics.
Yes, I'm a huge Olympics person, for sure.
When did you become obsessed with the Olympics?
Oh my gosh, I think I was like well, I was a child. Like, probably the Atlanta Olympics really did it for me.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever been to an Olympics?
Oh, no, I can't afford that.
Well, I don't know. Like, if you had, I mean, you maybe the one of the U.S. Like, I went to the Olympics. It was a different world. But in 1984, we did the whole vacation movie play out. We drove cross country from New Jersey to Los Angeles and back. And in the middle there, we went to the LA Olympics, went to a few things. Sure, it wasn't big deal stuff. It was team handball and soccer, which at the time wasn't a big deal. But still, we did it. It's possible. It's a different time.
Well, I don't know. I think like the price of going to the Olympics now is like insane. Like the ticket prices are insane. But with the last Olympics, with the one that they had in Rio, the last Summer Olympics, like that was like a disaster, and most of the events weren't sold out at all.
Yeah, so it's going to be in Los Angeles in 12 years or something like that. So that might be your chance. That might be your big chance.
By then I'll be like I should have money by then, right?
Okay.
Because I'll be in my 40s.
I'm in my 40s, and I have some bad news for you.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm a little optimistic still.
No,
sorry.
there's time. There's time for you to start planning. Start planning now. What do you love most about the Olympics?
Well, I mean, I guess I sort of like the theater of them, and they're kind of like, I'm really into the whole like patriotism of like, oh, these are the different countries competing and America and all that stuff. I don't know, because we're generally like pretty good at them.
Yes,
Americans.
I think that's a fair statement. We generally do pretty well. And do you have a specific event, or I think you said you prefer the Summer Olympics, but do you have a particular event that you really like besides the opening ceremonies?
I'm really into gymnastics and all of the swimming events.
Yeah, we've talked a few times about Olympic swimming on this podcast, and Andy Woodhull was a swimmer in college, and he loved Olympic swimming, and it's like there's really only once every 4 years that you can go in a bar and ask them to put swimming on the TV. So that's really your only opportunity.
No, it's true. It is kind of an event that most people don't really pay attention to. So
are you a swimmer? Do you like swimming?
Oh, I mean, I can swim, but I prefer not to.
Okay, good.
I agree with that.
Yeah, right.
That is not my first choice of exercise, because the chlorine like dries out your skin, and it's just kind of it's kind of rough on your body. So I mean, it's good for your joints. Maybe I should do it. I don't know.
Pros and cons. So many pros and cons. I also believe that you told me you were obsessed, and I am too, a little bit, maybe for different reasons, with Rob Gronkowski.
Yes.
So tell us about your Rob your Gronk obsession. By the way, I get made fun of because I always accidentally call him Ron Gronkowski because I really want it to rhyme.
No, we get picked on because you pick him in the first round of the.
And historically, I didn't get him this year, but historically, I pick him in the first round of our fantasy draft. But how are you obsessed with Rob Gronkowski?
Well, I mean, okay, so I'm not supposed to be a Patriots fan because I grew up in Colorado.
Sure.
And you're supposed to be for the Broncos all the way.
Sure. Yeah,
and
we've heard that.
The Broncos are rivals of the Patriots.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I had a boyfriend, this was like 6 or 7 years ago, who was like a sports memorabilia sales guy.
Really?
And yes. Yeah. No, his name was Dave.
Okay.
And
we know Dave.
Yeah, and he used to get me a lot of Rob Gronkowski stuff. I was just really into him because of obviously what he looks like.
Sure. I mean, there's that. That's why Lewis loves him.
He's 6'6" and 280 pounds, and I feel like he's one of the only men who could probably give me a good tossing around.
Oh my. Oh goodness.
Because I'm a tall lady. And
yeah. How tall are you?
5'11".
Yeah.
I hear about it all the time.
I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum. Together we could be an adorable pair that fights crime or something.
Yeah. But I don't know. I've just always been a big fan of him. And even back when, do you remember, when The Murderer was playing on the Patriots?
Yes.
Aaron Hernandez.
Yes.
he was also very attractive, and they
Like
were
murderers
both, like,
normally
really
are.
good tight ends to watch. So,
Right.
I don't know. That era was like kind of a big highlight for me. I'm still into Rob Gronkowski, but he gets injured a lot.
Yeah.
Probably because he's a
fragile.
bigger guy. Like
That's-
they don't last that long.
That's why I didn't pick him first this time, and now I don't have him. I feel a little bad about it.
He'll get hurt
well,
again.
but he's injured again right now, I think.
So, yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm
so-
pretty sure he also did an adorable photo shoot with like some kittens at some point.
Yes.
He'll do anything for money. That's a great thing.
I had that picture on the background of my laptop for a while.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, we'll
that's
post.
something I'm familiar with.
It's got everything. It's got Rob Gronkowski
does.
and kittens.
I mean, he's just a good, like, all-American looking blonde boy with a square jaw, you know?
Yeah, you sound very patriotic, more so than some of the comedians we have on this podcast. I just think it's interesting. You're very patriotic about the Olympics. You like the Patriots, which in and of itself is patriotic. They are called the Patriots.
Yes.
You like this sort of the red meat guy. So all right, little divergent.
Well,
Yeah, but also aren't we like not supposed to like the Olympics because they exploit people in other countries? I don't know.
Yeah, we usually do some very
We've
in-depth
got past
reporting.
that. It's okay.
But we still talk about it, and we still, there's always there's usually some creepy economic stuff going on in whatever country they're taking place in. Yeah, like they're
Right.
removing homeless people and tearing down their
Yes.
shacks and
Yeah, like I think in Rio they were like tearing down favelas and like
Yeah.
What are they gonna do in
building
LA?
stadiums.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what they're gonna. I mean, because in LA they have Olympic facilities that were used in the '90s, but I'm sure they're never going to use them again for the Olympics. So they're just going to build new stuff, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
mean, you would think. I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna have like 14 football teams by that time. So in LA.
Oh
so
my God!
might
Yeah,
as
we
well
don't
just
need
stay.
them. I actually live in the neighborhood where the USC stadium is, and whenever there's a game, the traffic is just
I can
you
imagine.
can't go anywhere, so it's a nightmare already.
I want to say this. Even when you're talking about nightmarish traffic, you have a voice of positivity, and you're just so upbeat. How do you
Thank
do
you.
it?
I have no idea. I walked here from so this is very Portland, but I waited in line for brunch this morning.
Yes.
And at a biscuit farm to table restaurant.
Right. Sure. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting one of those in Portland.
And then after my breakfast, I found a boutique where I bought a crystal that struck me as something I needed.
Okay.
And then as I was walking to Starbucks, I ran into a Frenchman.
Okay.
Who told me that I was very optimistic and positive,
Yeah.
and that he thinks that I'll be famous. And I was like, okay, bye.
Right.
He wanted to have dinner.
Well, I don't know. That might be the universe knocking on your door. You might have to
Did he want farm to table dinner?
No, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I have more comedy to do tonight, so I was like, no, I'm busy. Bye.
Well, that's why you're going to be famous, because you prioritize.
Did he not have an all-American square jaw?
Well, he was French.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
he kind of had
Weak jaw.
I think, I don't want to say anything against the French or European.
Go on.
You can go ahead and do it if you want to.
I don't know. I feel like French guys tend to not have square jaws. I don't know what that is.
I feel like that is the kindest French, insults ever, even on this podcast. If my husband was here, he'd be saying far worse things, I'm sure.
Because what is Rob Gronkowski Polish, or what's his
That
background?
sounds Polish to me, but you know what? We'll fact check that.
It has to be some sort of Eastern European background, right?
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Because it's usually guys. Okay, this is also going to sound strange, but like, it's usually guys who are like German or Czech who have like a square jaw type look.
All right, now I know what to look for. Okay.
I've actually dated a lot of men from German background.
Right.
So.
Okay. All right.
So you're really into like Austrian, Hungarian, that kind of area guys.
Yeah, like that
he's
type
Polish.
of.
He's Polish.
Yes.
Drew just looked it up for us. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, like either Austrian, Hungarian,
Eastern
German,
European.
or I've dated a lot of Irish guys.
Okay.
Just like pasty guys.
Pasty guys, tall pasty guys. I got you. Wow. Well, and then I have to, and this is.
I have one question. I'm sorry.
Please go ahead,
I'm
Louis.
sorry. What you're 5'11", which is tall for a woman, right? So, what is the shortest guy that you've ever dated? Because you were hot in the pants for Gronkowski because he's 6'6".
Actually, like several of my boyfriends have been shorter than me. My last boyfriend was 5'8".
Okay.
But the shortest guy I ever dated was 5'6".
Wow.
5'6", wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
did it last long or
the
not?
giggles are gone.
Oh, I mean, I can't say I have the best memories of that guy.
Oh, okay. So, but it's not necessarily height
because
related.
of his height. Yeah.
Wasn't
No. He was just what we call in the biz a POS.
Yes, in the biz.
One of those.
Now, before we get to our game, here's the last thing I wanted to ask you about. You sent us some really good information about things that you've been obsessed with and sports-related stuff, and one of them is that you told us that you have hooked up with sons of two different famous New York Yankees.
No. I hooked up with two sons of the same player.
What?
Yes. That's even better.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, I gotta ask this. This is tacky. I'm gonna ask it anyway. At the same time?
No, different times.
Okay, I'm just asking. I don't know.
How dare you, God?
Wait a second. Forever,
Whoa,
guys.
my
forever,
God.
men have had that twin fantasy. I was just asking.
Well, no, this was
that was for feminism.
I think it was like a year and a half apart of each other.
But they were brothers.
Yes, they're brothers. Yeah.
Ooh, and can you say what Yankee?
Yeah, I'll say that his name rhymes with Boost Bossage.
Okay. Yes, the picture. Think of a bird. Drew's looking at me real hard. Think of a bird.
Come on.
Think of a
He's
bird.
a Hall of Fame
Canadian
Yankees baseball pitcher.
Goose Gossage.
Yeah.
Okay, but you didn't say it. I did.
Known for his handlebar mustache.
Now, did you live near the family or something, or it's just some weird?
Yeah. I mean, we all went to the same high school, but they're a little older than me.
Okay.
His youngest son was a senior in high school when I was a freshman.
Wow. Oh, that's a little risque.
No, this happened when we were in our 20s.
Oh my goodness. So whether you were at a high school reunion or something, or just past each other on the street?
We were all living back in Colorado Springs.
Oh,
and
nice.
I just met them at a bar once.
Wow.
And we were just friends.
That's all friends, yeah.
Friends.
Were they? I guess you sound like you have good memories of them.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was were they athletes?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
How tall were they?
Good question. How tall?
They were all okay. The younger one was 6'2", and the older one was 6 feet tall.
Okay. All right. That'll do it.
And they're tall blonde men with square jaws.
Oh yeah, go on.
When you gotta type, you gotta type. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
I've come away feeling like I could be a Yenta for Heather and find her dates just based on this conversation. I feel like.
Please do, because I need help out here.
All right,
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know how many of those there are in Portland though.
Well, she's in LA most of the time.
Okay, there's plenty of them in LA.
Okay,
yeah.
So maybe too many. Was one of them cuter than the other?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Was one of them a bigger brother?
Was he what?
Drew Harrison.
No, that's where we draw the line. Okay.
They were both about the same.
Oh wow! And now they know it because I'm sure they.
I'm sure they knew before that.
I'm sure
they're
they
brothers.
I don't know if they shared that.
I have a brother. I don't know. I don't know what his penis looks like. That's what we're talking about. Penis.
Oh, we're not family here.
Oh boy. No. Well, Heather, we always play.
I was going to ask. Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask. Well, Drew kind of. But which one?
Drew screwed it up.
No, he didn't.
Okay. I segued into it for him.
Which one was better in bed? The younger or older one?
Well, the younger one.
Was the younger one the better looking one also?
He wanted it more,
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased.
Okay, well, all right.
Biased based on what?
I think. Well, I just liked him more.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, no, that counts. I'm not sure that's biased.
No.
Exactly, but yeah.
No.
All right. Well, we always play a game with our comedic guests. And we don't talk about comedy or play a comedy game, but we play a game that's in some way based on the topics that you gave us that were of sports interest to you. And though my husband, Gary, sports ed expert, is not here today, he did work up a game for you. And it's a sports sex scandal trivia challenge.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Okay.
Now
I think I can do this.
All right.
Some of these are pretty
some of these are hard, but it's okay. Like getting 3 or 4 out of 10 is really doing quite well for our impossible trivia challenges.
Really?
Yes.
wow.
We've got a real problem where we're Alex Trebek holding the answers, and we think we're geniuses. So, but here's the thing: my husband loves puns and other really just sassy jokes, and so these are written in that style. So if you hear like a joke that like a 11-year-old boy might tell, it's probably because he wrote it that way. So
okay.
So we got 10 questions, and we might give you a clue here and there. You just do the best you can. Some of these are hard.
Are they multiple choice?
No. Oh no.
Okay.
These are.
They're just. I just have to guess. Okay.
I call not it on number 10.
Okay. Well then I'll do number 10.
Okay.
So I'll start with number 1. In 2011, this Manchester United star had so much sex with his brother's wife. Oh, these are the jokes I'm talking about here. Had so much sex with his brother's wife that he had to keep Ancestry.com on speed dial. Why is he doing this to me? Who was this familial philanderer? Do you know anything about soccer in Great Britain?
I've never even heard of this
for
guy.
Manchester? Does Ronaldo play for Manchester?
No, but hold that somewhere in your mind for maybe later.
Oh, okay.
Well, what was it was? I'm going to go ahead and just tell you this one, and it's a warm-up question. It's a warm-up question. That was Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs.
Okay.
Never heard of him.
So that's going to be one wrong. But you know what?
I have to look him up.
I love that music.
He's like vaguely attractive.
Okay. Oh, you know him.
Well, his brother's
No, I
wife
just
sure
Googled
thought so.
him.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, his brother's wife thought so. All right, Drew, you want to go with number 2? This is going to be a hard one. I'm going to just say it.
I'm a big sport.
You know what? I think it's best, Heather, to just think of these as really interesting stories that you may or may not know the answer to. But the
Some
journey,
of them you're gonna.
The journey, the journey's half the thing here.
All right.
Okay.
In 2003, the Cleveland Indians decided to sign a prize recruit from the Japanese Baseball League. They probably should have done a little more background checking. Turns out this pitcher had made a gay porn film so vile that Evan Stone wouldn't even take his phone calls. Who was this ardent Indian?
Okay, first of all, I just have to say here, Lewis, this is what Gary said to me before he went to work. Lewis is going to know who Evan Stone is, and he's going to laugh. Because I'm like, who's Evan Stone?
I don't know. Japanese porn is so weird, though. Can I just say that?
But what it says to me...
She gets a quarter of a point.
Yeah, you get a quarter of a point because it says to me is that you are familiar specifically with Japanese porn.
Yeah.
So,
well, no, I'm not going to say I'm familiar, but I know, like, the basics of it.
Okay, we're taking that quarter back.
You know what? Just take the quarter point, Heather. Do you have an idea of who this pitcher might be?
I have no idea. No.
Kuzuhiro Tadano.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if I said that right.
Big. You did as far as we're concerned.
Okay.
As far as we're concerned.
Oh, him. Yeah.
All right. Now, remember back a few moments, and as you listen to this question, in Brazil, this is number 3. In Brazil, a certain soccer star had a potentially messy encounter. At the end of the night, he took 3 people he believed to be women back to a notorious pay-by-the-hour hotel, only to discover that when the clothes came off, I'm not reading this joke. Like
Come on.
Go on with it.
That when the clothes came off, there was more wood in the room than a lumberjack convention.
Oh God, Blair.
Oh my God, is this Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yes, it is. Bing, bing, bing.
Well, he doesn't seem like totally,
No, he manscapes way too much.
A brawl ensued. The cops were called. Yeah. It was Ronaldo.
Do you know what have you ever looked up what he looked like before he got plastic surgery?
I didn't know he had plastic surgery.
Oh, I mean, he looks like a totally different person. He's
really?
Not even... Yes, he got his teeth fixed, too.
Oh, wow.
He used to have really bad snaggle teeth.
Well, he's also... Yeah. That was a thing. All right, why don't you go ahead, Drew, there with number 4.
All right.
You know more about this than you were leading on, by the way, Heather.
Oh, okay.
The night before Super Bowl 23, the Bart Starr Award for High Moral Character was handed out to an Atlanta Falcon who was playing the next day. He celebrated by picking up a young prostitute, offering $40. Unfortunately, the situation turned out to be a bigger sting than the lead singer for the Police, and this gentleman was arrested. Who was he?
Did you get that joke there?
So it's a player that picked up a prostitute before the Super Bowl?
Right. After winning the Moral Character Award.
Oh,
It was a while ago, though. It's like 27 years ago.
So it's somebody that's, like, respected?
He was until this.
I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me the answer.
Eugene Robinson.
Eugene Robinson.
I don't even know who that is.
And I was told to make sure everyone knew that he did play the next day.
Yeah.
He was in the Super Bowl. He did not. They
did not win.
They made sure that he made it to the big game. All right, Heather. Here's number 5. We're halfway there. In 2005, this NFL team. Here's some hints here. This NFL team decided to take Prince's advice and seek sexual healing on the warm waters of the Lake Minnetonka. Prostitutes were flown in from as far as Atlanta and Florida. The last time you the last time you saw this much sex on a boat, Tommy Lee was making a home movie. Who was this bad boy football team? Lake Minnetonka.
Oh, is it the Vikings?
Yeah! Ding, 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 ding.
There we go.
There you go. You're doing pretty good for our standards. All right, go ahead. Number 6, Drew.
Oh, God. You never want to be that guy that graduates from high school then keeps hanging out with the high school kids. This former Packers tight end attended a post-prom party, got drunk, and was eventually charged with sexually assaulting his 17-year-old babysitter. He was eventually...
Oh, my God.
He was eventually cleared of the charges and was quoted as saying, "It wasn't something a married man should do." Who was this charmer?
I don't know. I honestly, it could be anybody.
Well,
this lovely person's name was Mark Chmura. Chmura.
Yeah, and I love the emphasis. Gary's like, I love how he says it's something a married man shouldn't do. No. That's going to be something that you just
shouldn't do.
Any adult man shouldn't do.
He was a tight end for the Packers, and his NFL dance was he would take the ball and twist it and drink it. That was his thing.
That was his celebration in the end zone?
Yes.
That was his touchdown?
That was his touchdown, yeah.
Yeah, he's no Rob Gronkowski, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Right now.
So frat boy.
Yeah, exactly. Although Rob Gronkowski does look like he would be kind of a frat boy.
No,
okay.
listen, don't you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I appreciate this joke. Do you care if I read this?
Go ahead, Drew. Well, if you're finding enjoyment from it, then all means.
Don't talk about Heather's man like that.
Okay, I'm sorry, Heather. I apologize.
I'm offended for her.
Okay.
This all-time...
Try again. Take 2.
Excuse me. Take 2 here. This all-time NFL great was famous for his uncanny ability to force the ball into a tight hole in the defense. However, in the end of his career, he met sideline reporter Jen Sturger. While pitching woo, he sent her more pics than George Bush took at Dick Cheney's 60th birthday party.
More dick pics.
Did I not say dick pics?
Wait,
more
did
dicks?
Did you say the name of the woman?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, could you say it one more time?
Jen Sturger.
Huh, I don't know.
Who was this Packer legend?
It was a Packer legend, but he was not playing for the Packers when he did this.
Played for the Jets.
Oh, wait, we're not talking about what's his name, right?
Yeah, we are.
Mr. Ringler.
Brett Favre?
Yeah! Ding, 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 ding. All right, you're doing pretty well here, I'd say, Heather. You're doing pretty well. Here's number 8. This legendary golfer had the world by the tail, beautiful wife, piles of money, and a tee shot to die for. However, one minor traffic accident later, and it turns out he was juggling more women than a clown at a bowling pin convention. That's my husband.
I mean, we're obviously talking about Tiger Woods.
Yes,
right?
we are. Ding, 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 ding. Very good. Very good. All right, you could go 50-50 on this one, I feel like. You know what? No, you're not. But go ahead. Ask her number 9, Drew.
In 2005, this female pro golfer decided to have a baby. But instead of her husband, the father was her caddy. as proven only after several lawsuits and paternity suits. Who was this classy lady?
Wait, a female professional golfer who had a
Yes.
kid with her caddy?
Yes, a little equal rights here.
I honestly, this is going to be so shameful, but I think I can only name one female golfer.
Nah,
and
I
she
don't know
doesn't
who this
have
lady is.
kids.
Either.
Who's the female golfer you know?
The only one I know, Michelle Wee.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only one I know.
It's not her. Someone. It's go ahead, Drew.
Jackie Gallagher Smith.
Jackie
Gallagher
Gallagher.
Smith. Oh, I mean, that's pretty scandalous.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got a little equal time.
I wonder
there.
what tipped him off.
I don't know. I'm sure we could fact check and go into it super deep next.
I want to
episode.
dedicate all of the next episode I'm on to that show.
All right, there you go. All right, Heather, this is the final question, and Drew has asked me to read it because it involves sensitive.
Makes me feel icky.
It makes Drew feel icky.
Oh, wow.
And I'm the strong one here. All right,
boy.
It's number 10. Ever heard of the FIA? It's the organization that controls Formula One racing. In 2008, its president was having a bad day, so he made a video of himself having sex with 5 prostitutes at once. Worse, the women were wearing Nazi death camp uniforms as he yelled at them in German to whip me until it bleeds. Who was this prize of a guy?
Like a total freak, obviously.
Yes, total freak.
I mean, I don't know, but
I don't know who this is, but I really want to know who this person is.
I don't know. He sounds like he has some issues.
He has some serious. I'll tell you his name, and then I'll tell you a little tidbit. His name was Max Mosley. Okay. And I didn't get the full story, but apparently his father was some kind of Nazi. It's not clear if he was a Nazi in the 40s or if he was a Nazi, sort of a right wing Austrian or German, political group that's more modern day. But so that makes it even worse. This is So that's number 10. And how did you do here, Heather? You know what? You got a highly respectable 4 out of 10. Everyone, very respectable 4 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Those were honestly very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, they were. I mean, our best ever is 8.5 out of 10. And we're at episode 131. So there you go.
Oh, wow.
We've never had a perfect score.
We've never had a perfect score, and we're not well liked. So... before we go on, let me ask you to tell us about anything that you have coming up besides the All Jane Festival. Do you have any shows or festivals or albums or anything happening out there?
Yeah, well, I have shows. I have my shows always put up on my website. My website is unrulymarulli.com, which
I like
is my
that
comedy nickname.
I like it. I agree with it.
Yeah, most significantly, I'm going to be in New York next month, and I'm going to be doing a roast battle at the Stand on Roastmasters. That's going to be, I believe it's November 20th is the day. That's a Tuesday.
Oh, that's exciting. All right.
Yeah, but I'm going to be doing a few shows out in New York, so I would love to see my fans.
That would be wonderful.
All 5 of them. No,
who couldn't be a fan of yours after this great, uplifting, super positive appearance on our podcast? It's been
I know.
Everyone, big round of applause for Heather. And thank you so much. Hope to see you again soon.
Great. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, Heather. Wow. She was a bundle of sunshine. Even when talking about very dark and scary things.
Yeah.
Very positive.
Yeah, it's very positive. All right, listeners. Well, that's going to wind us up here at My Fantasy Wife Podcast. Check us out on iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube and find all our links to social media and everything else great at our website, myfantasywife.com. Thank you, Mr. Bishop, for taking us out with the jazz trumpet stylings of Mr. Al Hurt.